champion of the world, the takeover, Teofimo Lopez!
The highlight of Teofimo Lopez's night was the circus ring entrance.
Yeah. Y'all can boo all you want. Suck a dick, no homo.
No.
What did he say? Hey, welcome back to another episode of Chin Checkers. Y'all already know who it is. It's to get that work. Hawk Von Dame. You are you, and we are here, man. Wow. A lot of controversy. We're gonna jump right into it. A lot of controversy, with that Teofimo Lopez fight. Yeah, man. I want to say it. I think it was a robbery. I think it was a robbery. But first, let me also say that I understand the psyche. I get the psyche of some people who sided with Lopez. So I understand that you probably felt like Ortiz didn't earn it. But in that same regard, I don't think Lopez earned to keep it. I just, so that's how I feel. I'm gonna break it down more, but
all right.
Let me know. I heard the noise. It didn't sound like you agree with me. So, what you saying?
No, I'm on the side that Ortiz did not earn it.
Okay.
But there's certain things that I want to give him credit for. And I pride myself on being super high IQ boxing knowledge, right?
Yeah.
At no point in my mind, and I'm always like this, I'm a film watcher, I'm a hellacious film watcher. I pick out any little crumb I could go, oh, this is a weakness, we gonna use it. How dumb am I that Teo struggles with Martin, and I don't even think, damn, what if Jamaine comes in there and fights southpaw?
Yeah.
What a fucking gem of a game plan by him.
Right.
Now, with that being said,
here we go.
This motherfucker turned into a track star, man. Did he not? Oh, you think that means you got some bullets in the chamber. That performance was trash. It was trash. And I think it was trash on both ends. But you're going against the champion.
Yes.
Saw the Martin game plan, and they didn't give it to Martin. So you decided to do the exact same thing that Martin did and expected a different result. I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point does psychology kick in on yourself where you're going, hey, I'm doing really good on this game plan. Maybe I should take it up another level.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought Martin up. I'm glad you brought him up.
I like the announcement.
Because, yeah. That is one of my biggest factors that I was going to use in this debate. This great debate that we're about to have. And so
let me hear it.
The reason why I felt like Lopez lost is because he did worse in this fight with Ortiz than he did with Martin. Also, let's bring up the fact that Martin was a 10-round fight with a flash knockdown, where I thought he performed pretty decent. And in that fight, they gave him a split decision win. How do you get a split decision win in a fight where you actually visually do better, on paper you do better. But when you go against Ortiz, not only did Ortiz outland Martin in that fight, which 12-round fight, 10-round fight, I get that. Not only did he outland Ortiz, Lopez did worse. In a 12-round fight, he got hit more and he hit less. How do you do worse and get a unanimous decision? How does that make sense? And it just doesn't add up. That logically doesn't make sense. Your opponent did better than the other opponent. You actually did worse, but you get a better decision.
So hold on. So you're a judge right now watching a fight.
Yes.
Are you judging purely off points or on the punches landed? Are you keeping track of all the copy box punches that landed, and is that how you're judging, based solely on that?
No, I'm judging on the visual first. That's how you judge, on the visual first.
Okay.
There's no way. I don't think Lopez did better, not just than himself in the Martin fight. I don't think he did better than Ortiz. I don't think he did, visually looking at it. And when I go back and look at the stats, it shows it. And when I go back and look at the fight, it shows. Even though he had a flash knockdown where he took from Martin, he visually did better. And he actually did better on paper. He did worse. His opponent did better, and he gets a better decision. That doesn't add up. It doesn't.
Yeah. To me, the only thing is that I looked at was there were points in that fight where you saw Jamaine land. He was fighting southpaw, so he did the left. That you could tell he wasn't naturally a southpaw, because when he landed, it looked like nothing happened.
Right.
It also looked like when he was landing his jab, it was just more of a flick jab at points. Not that he didn't land good jabs, but there were points where he's landing, and it almost looks like when you're slap boxing with someone, they have almost no effect. So there were punches that you're watching, and when they land, it's like, yeah. And then the guy's literally flying up and down the ring.
Sure.
Way more movement than Martin.
Yes.
Way more movement. So eye test wise, it looks like he's running. So you're negating those taps that you're landing with. There was a moment where he switched real quick and started throwing with his right and landed a right uppercut. Timothy Bradley was like, oh, these are only grazing punches. No, that was probably the only solid punch he landed in that round. I wish that Ortiz, at some point of dominating the ring generalship, dominating the movement, dominating that, why didn't you switch up and throw more punches right-handed? You had the fight pretty much nullified. And if you weren't going to do that, why didn't you throw more punches in a southpaw stance?
True.
You know why? Because he was getting countered slowly. It's just Ortiz struggles with people that move, or maybe just struggles with southpaws in general.
Lopez,
excuse me. Thank you for correcting it.
Gotcha.
I don't think he did nowhere near enough to win that fight.
I mean, he did more than Martin.
And I didn't think Martin deserved to win that fight.
Right. And he did it. And he didn't. And that is, the inconsistency of, I guess when it comes to judging fights. And I know what some people are going to write in the comments. Well, it was a different set of judges. I agree with you. It's a different set of judges. And I understand that. But my thing is just, where does it make sense that you do better and he gets a split decision win against Martin? You do worse and your opponent does better than Martin and you get a better decision. You get a unanimous decision. I don't think it really adds up. Real quick, shout out to Showbiz, because I watched one of his old videos back then where he talked about, now this is where Combi Box doesn't work in my favor, but let me bring it all around for you.
Okay.
We talked about Lomachenko and Haney. And when you look at the combi box numbers, Lomachenko outlands Haney, you know, and Haney still gets the W.
What kind of punches were both of these men landing? And if you look at the first round, the type of punches, power punches being landed by Devin the American Dream Haney is mostly, and I'm talking about really, really by a lot more than half, were to the body, okay? If you look at the type of punches landed by Vasily Lomachenko, mostly by majority, like 90%, were to the head. So now you have to ask yourself, what do you favor? Do you score them both evenly? So you have to ask yourself, if you saw a round where there's one fighter who landed one power punch to the body and the other fighter landed one power punch to the head, who would you give that round to? Would you say it's dead even? If you had to give it to one of the fighters, who would you give it to? I would give it to the fighter who landed that one punch to the head.
And I thought that logically kind of made some sense. Like I understood where he was coming from logically. But then I posed a question, well, what if you get hit with a power body shot and it hurts you? Keith Thurman, Usyk. And then you get hit with a head power shot and you don't fucking blink. Like Cotto and Pacquiao. What if you don't blink? Does that then sway your decision? And for me, what also made me take this stance against Lopez and for Ortiz is the fact that defense. If you're swinging for the fences and you're missing, I think that's eye-catching. Just like if you hit, it's eye-catching. If you miss, it's eye-catching, which Ortiz was making Lopez miss a lot, and it was like visible.
Yeah.
And even Lopez said in his post-fight interview, you know, hey, there was a boxer that I think threw one punch, or he didn't land a punch and he won a round. What happened to defense? Well, if you say that, that's shooting yourself in the foot because you landed less punches.
Someone of this caliber, me speaking, how can I lose a round when there's a guy that's not really being effective? But I'm blocking, slipping, moving. Come on, I thought we knew boxing, guys. That's all defense right there. Remember Willie Pep? He won one round without throwing a punch. Where's that at?
That was Willie Pep, by the way.
Right. So if we are going to incorporate defense into, I guess, judging a round, I feel that Ortiz won the fight. Now, again, I go back to the psyche. Did he deserve the win? Probably not. But I think he should have won. That's just how I feel. Lopez did worse. He didn't do better than Martin fight. And his opponent did better in a 12-round fight. So in a 12-round fight, he landed less punches. If you are an elite fighter or you feel like you're an elite fighter, whatever, if you do worse in a 12-round fight, punch stat wise, versus a 10-round fight, I don't know if you deserve the victory.
Well,
at the very least, I thought it should have been a draw.
I could see that too. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If one guy's playing defense and landing tap shots, but the other guy's being the aggressor most of the fight and he's throwing bombs, but also landing some counter punches here and there, if no one's really hurting each other, what are you going based off of? Because neither guy, whether you consider the power shots or not, are hurting each other. So where do you go?
I'm going with the guy who basically looked more effective. That's how I'm judging the fight. I'm going with whoever looked more effective. And I didn't think Lopez aggression and his offense was effective enough.
Movement, it was just legs. Let me get the fuck out of there. And at times, Ortiz comes off as a plotter. So do you know how bad it looks where you do have good movement, but then decide to run all the way to the other side of the ring? It looks bad optically. And then Tio is like Mr. Potato Head wobbling towards you, mad slow. It looks bad, bro.
It looks bad on both parts. I do agree, but when I look at whose plan was working more, I feel like Ortiz's plan was working more. Let me ask you a quick question, right? Now, I've seen a lot of comments, all over YouTube and everywhere talking about, I never want to see Ortiz fight again, all this type of stuff. Whatever, the jokes and whatever, and some of them are serious. When you watch Ortiz versus Loma, who did you think won?
I thought he gave him a good effort, but I still felt Loma. I felt Loma won.
But look at the power punches where fights are won and lost.
Box. And like I said, with Compy Box and the feel of the fight, you can have two different decisions. Did you know that overall that Loma outlanded Ortiz only by 3 punches? But in the power punch category, Ortiz was 107 to 92 against Loma. So even though this fight with, Teo, he didn't do that at all, he still outlanded him. Totally, that didn't work. And then when he went against Loma and he had way more power punches than him, that still didn't work. I feel like Ortiz should have won that fight. He didn't deserve it, but he should have won.
I could see that argument, and what makes it real whack is a scorecard that's so wide. To give someone 117 to 111, that's so wide. You're like, God damn, that at no point at any point of this fight, any of the rounds were that wide. How could you see that for the whole fight? My only thing is that you had such an unbelievable game plan. And I can't believe that Ortiz found such a gem and didn't press the gas. I mean, you should have went full fucking throttle. I remember the commentating kind of saying something well, fuck it, then let me turn around and just throw some bombs, even if they're body shots or whatever, and it may expose me to getting hit more. You're dominating about 90% of the fight. So if you're dominating the ring generalship of everything, you're dominating the defensive performance of everything, why not just let your hands go way more? Both guys look fine after the fight. That wasn't the case with Loma and Ortiz. In that fight too, he got buzzed and rocked. Loma rocked him, Go for it. Just go for it. And I felt he didn't. I'm glad, halfway through, I fell asleep during the fight too. I had to get up and rewatch it. And I rewatched it again I don't ever want to rewatch that fight again. Let the record just state. I don't want to see this again.
Well, to wrap it up, as usual, Lopez with his interviews. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know.
Teo, you said the next 4 fights you want is Crawford, Haney, Gervonta, and Ryan in that order. So if you can't get the Crawford fight, is Devin Haney the next fight you want?
These guys want clout. Do you guys not understand this? The moment they all get into the moment, right? The momentum. They feel the IQ. They feel the punches. They say, oh, this is real life. I don't want to get knocked out in front of the world.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I shouldn't be treated this way. Is it because I'm not black enough, or is it because I'm not white enough, or is it because I'm not Spanish enough? Which one is it? Or is Asian enough? There's only one race that I believe in, the human race. And you know who expressed that part? Rosa Parks. Yep. And for it being saying the 400 years of slavery, why hasn't anyone stood up to the words of the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., the likes of Malcolm X, the likes of those like Bob Marley, right? Rastafari, man. It's the Trinity.
I mean, I watch his interview, and I'm left with more questions. Like I don't understand. He don't fully answer questions.
He understands. I don't think he be understanding the questions because he be on some whole other shit, and I do that too a lot. I think that's the ADHD, man.
Hey, whatever it is, it's entertaining, but it's weird.
It's definitely weird.
what do you want to see him do? Because I'm gonna say this, and then when I say it, there's gonna be people who's gonna hate and put false things in the comment section and whatever. But I know what I want to see next.
All right, I'm interested to hear this.
I want to see him fight Matisse, and the reason why, if
you beat me to it, you beat me to it. Oh shit!
If you are upset about this guy running around, guess who the fuck is not gonna run around? He's gonna walk right to you. So that way there is no complaint about somebody moving too much. He didn't want to come to the fight. Apparently he sent a contract to him before. Batista explained that he wasn't ready. He was like healing from an injury, and he kind of knew that. And he was like, "Oh, you can't make this day. I'm out." Now that Matisse is healed up, I want to see that fight. I want to see Lopez and Matisse go at it. I think it'll be a great fight, great styles, and may the best man win.
Yo, so it was this is why we a team, bro. Because I was thinking the exact same thing. I saw a clip where he said Matisse is soft. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He said
okay.
fighters. He said Puerto Rican fighters are soft.
No one knew about him until he started calling me out. He just threw the facts. He could be an IBF world champion, but he's the most softest fighter in the division. Why I say that? Because he's one-dimensional to the point where Puerto Ricans, man, I tear they butt up. Puerto Ricans are easy to beat, and I don't care if the Puerto Ricans feel some type of way. Put them in front of me, we beat them.
Okay.
What? Bro, I pray that this is the next fight. I pray that this is the next fight, man.